think
They look good last season. I know. Chill. Maybe you should go because I know you're pretty high on them.
Chill should probably start.
Yes. So when Chauncey Billups first got this job, I know a lot of you guys up here, particularly Mars, wasn't really happy with him because he really wasn't. I mean, he didn't know what he was doing. He had just gotten the job. Scoot wasn't really turning out to be what we thought that he was going to be. But then it started to work. I think he started to put Scoot in different spaces. He made Scoot more of a rotation guy. He did start him, but then he made him more of a rotation guy, gave him energy coming off the bench. And then that equated into him now being in the starting lineup. And then with him doing that, he had the offense where Scoot now gets downhill more. That's more of his strength. With Scoot getting downhill more, which being more of his strength and getting to the rim, I think that developed his confidence as one, a scorer, and two, a ball handler. Then we get guys like Kamara, who is one of the better defenders in the league, who really wasn't somebody that we were talking about initially, but then he turned out to be one of the better defenders in the league in terms of him, which I didn't really pay attention to. Like, his hands stay busy. I think he covers a lot of space. With him covering a lot of space, he's really physical. And I think that's enhanced his ability to defend, especially as a smart defender. So now we got that going on. I wasn't really sure about Klingon because I thought that Klingon was, for lack of a better term, clunky. One of those big guys that, was lumbering, only except he looked really good on the defensive end. And thinking about who Chauncey Billups is playing for that Detroit Pistons team, I think that was his mantra with this Trailblazer unit. I think offensively, Danny Advia, he's a lot better than what I thought he was. In fact, I didn't realize he was 6'9". I thought he was like 6'6", 6'7". I did not know he was that big. I remember watching him a little bit in Washington, but I wasn't blown away. I really liked what I saw from him in Portland. I love the fact that he comes off screens with confidence. I love the fact that he handles the basketball in the half court and he looks for other guys, but he looks for his offense and he takes really good shots. I love that about him. And I love their rotation too. So I think that this team, considering what the Western Conference is and the fact that they get Damian Lillard back, just for right now as a consultant, if they get him, and I think that Scoot's really going to benefit from that because Scoot can see how the game is being played from the eyes of Damian Lillard. Because he sees it from Chauncey Billups, but also from Damian Lillard as a bucket getter. I think that's really going to help them. I think this team, they won 36 games last year. I think they can win anywhere between 42 to 45 games. I think they're going to be that good. And if Robert Williams can stay healthy, I think their defense is going to be even better. I don't think Hansen is there yet in terms of being a contributing rotation guy. I do think that he's going to play some minutes, but I don't think he's there yet as a contributor and rotation guy. But I do like this Trailblazer team to make the playoffs this season.
He fouled out yesterday.
I think they're a nice team, Chill, to your point. I thought they looked really good last night. I like the rotation. I think there's something to be said about NBA teams that just play hard as shit. And I think that the Blazers are one of those teams. They're well coached. Billups asks a lot of them. They went on that crazy run last year, nearly made the play-in. So they were 36 wins last year, Chill, and they were out of the play-in picture by 3 games. So I can see that going up for sure.
I think we were 2 weeks before the playoffs started, and they were like 2 games out the play-in spot.
And they won like 15 to 17 games in a row or something crazy, which they stormed all the way nearly to the play-in. So I can see them being in the play-in mix. I think the West is too hard for me to get all the way there with a genuine playoff team, but I think they're going to be in the play-in mix. Because they're only 3 games out from it last year. They're going to get better than that. So, and Shaden Sharp looked great, by the way, Mars. Your guy.
Hey, you don't got to tell me.
I'm a big Shaden Sharp guy as well. So
I've been here. You're going to be healthy this year. We're going to see. I've been invested in Portland. And then Cho kind of stole my thunder because he's been way higher on them the last few months than I have. But I'm intrigued. I think their ceiling is probably sneaking in the play-in 9-10. Like, that's probably the best case scenario for them. But this is a team that had a really good defense kind of once they took DeAndre Ayton out of their rotation. Not straight at DeAndre Ayton, just the timeline. Donovan Klingon is someone who I think was a really good rookie defender, just had some issues with conditioning and some fouling issues, but nothing to be surprised about when you're a rookie center. But his rim protection is legit. Tamani is someone who I said is one of the most versatile defenders in the NBA. Been very high on Tamani since his rookie year. Seeing his growth offensively is going to be intriguing. I saw some more ball handling going on last night, which was something that I've been invested in a little bit just to see Portland's offense be a lot less stagnant. That's something that listening to them all throughout training camp and Chauncey and everyone. There's basically saying that their offense is going to have a lot more motion, a lot more movement, a lot less having people just run to the same spots, be stagnant, and kind of just wait it out. But he also said there's going to be a learning curve with that type of offense, which I can understand when you have a young team who are playing a new style of offense. So I think that could lead to some growing pains. But what I'm invested in is Denny Avdia, someone who I've been high on since Washington. Really dynamic point forward who can get downhill, really skilled slasher, really fast in transition in the open court, good feel as a passer. And then Shaden is someone who I've been invested in. I think he's their most talented scorer on the roster. The biggest issue I think I've had with him as a scorer has just been the ability to make threes with consistency. But last night and everything I've seen in training camp, everyone's been impressed with him. If he's really able to make threes at a solid clip, 36, 37%, he's already one of the best finishing guards in the NBA. And that's not just because he can dunk on people. His touch, his ability to get to the rim and finish and contort his body is really good. He has really big hands, so he doesn't lose the ball like some other two guards who I know. That's a shade at you, Jalen Green. Just really talented, really explosive. I think Jrue's going to be good for them. Robert Williams staying healthy. He's not even healthy right now, so it's like Robert Williams getting healthy and then playing is going to be a big deal. So overall, like there's question marks in terms of the health. I think their defense is going to be really good. I'd expect them to be a top 10-ish defense. I don't have it mapped out, but a top 10-ish defense, probably still a below average offense, but that can sneak you in the back door of the play. And if everything goes right and you're able to be healthy and another team is maybe able to be unhealthy, that could maybe sneak you in at the 10 seed. But if I was a betting man, I would say this team is probably an 11 or 12 seed, but a very exciting young 11 or 12 seed.
The reason why I didn't bring up Jrue Holiday is I don't know how bought in he is. I think he's one of those 1 foot out the door kind of guys. I think that on the surface it looks like he's here, but I feel like he's I feel like he's, the minute I can get an opportunity to get out of here, I'm gone. So I don't really know how bought in he is with this Portland crew. I really think he can help Scoop.
Why do you think that? Why do you think that?
Because he's old. No other reason.
Well, not only
because Chill's old.
Because he's been playing for championships the last 4 years.
That's where I was going. Thank you very much.
They're competing for the playoffs this year. And before,
okay, there's a difference between competing for the playoffs and being one of the.
By the way, in 2023.
But Drew's a good professional because everything he said sounded like he's invested. And he's
it does sound like he's invested, but I mean.
But the initial reports weren't chill. The initial reports were he didn't want to go to Portland when he first got traded.
Not only that, remember where we came from. He comes from New Orleans, where they were fighting for a playoff spot, and he gets and they were actually competing in the playoffs, to Milwaukee, to being a championship contender, to now going to Portland, which is now trying to start this thing over again. And I don't really have that much time left. Jrue Holiday is 35 years old, guys. Jrue Holiday isn't a young pup, right? He doesn't have that many years left. So
he's also a two-time champion, so
Yes, he is. He's also a two-time champion. But when I get an opportunity to play on a team like the Celtics, right, where we win in the NBA championship, or Milwaukee, like we win in the NBA championship, I'm really not interested in going to somewhere and just collecting a check. Especially when I can still play. And on top of that, in Portland, right? I know he's a West Coast guy, but in Portland, I don't think that Portland is exactly the ideal place.
It's a beautiful city.
Who do you think Jrue?
It's great. Is? I think it's a basketball city, but I'm not.
His wife plays soccer. That's a wonderful soccer place. Like that's one of the probably 5 best soccer markets in the U.S. I mean, that's a great place. It's a great place to raise a family.
UCLA.
Yo, Mars,
his wife played professionally too, so she got a break.
Yes,
Mars, I want to ask you this question, and then Ox, obviously you live in Portland, so I want to just kind of get the what's going on in the city. I want to know what's the buzz around the city about Portland. But right quick, Mars, first I want to ask you about the starting lineup. Denny, a lot of you guys have said Denny's their best player. Last night, albeit the preseason, he didn't start. Do you think Denny will come off the bench for this season, or do you think he'll end up in the starting lineup? He's going to start?
I don't know who's going to start for any team, really. Like, I haven't really thought. If I was Chauncey Billups, my starting lineup would be Jrue, Shaden, Tomani, Denny, and Donovan Clingan. That would be my starting 5. And I don't really think too much about that. I think that's your best lineup. Does Jeremy Grant sneak his way into the starting lineup? Maybe. He wouldn't be in mine, but maybe. So I don't really. The starting lineup isn't really a question for me, personally. if I had to maybe try to answer questions about why Denny didn't start, maybe it was just he's coming off Eurobasket. Maybe he was just experimenting with a lineup, whatever the case may be. But I don't know any team that's ever not started their best player, unless you're as high on Manu Ginobili as I am.
I was just about to say the Spurs.
Yeah, unless you're as high on Manu Ginobili as I am. I think their starting lineup should be Jrue, Shade, and Denny, Tamar, and Klingon. I think that should be their starting five. And I think
what if they're just showcasing Jeremy for a trade?
Well, yeah, he did real good with that showcase.
By starting him, like, hey, man, he's so good. He's starting over Denny Avdia.
He's gonna get bought out.
Pen, you could put this car on the showcase floor. It still costs what it costs. And you can dress it up to make it look whatever it looks like. It still
he was 2 for 11. He ain't exactly sell himself the best.
Exactly. I don't like the
maybe he doesn't want to get traded. Maybe he likes Portland. Y'all said it's a nice city, right? Speaking of which, Ox, how nice of a city is it, and how do the people in Portland feel about the Blazers right now, and you specifically?
The people from what I know, from when I've been around, I've been in the houses, lately, but for the most part, when I'm out and talking to people, they're pretty optimistic about the team this year. Not as high as Chill, but like for as far as the future goes, they're really high on Denny. Really high on Shaden. Kind of concerned about Jeremy Grant, although we all think he's still a good basketball player, just doesn't fit with this team any longer. Really high on the big fella, Donovan Klingon. So the Portland Trailblazers, as far as what I've seen, and I think we all can agree, they have a lot of talent. The issue, Chill, and you disagree with this, is Scoot. Most people are low on Scoot, and I'm low on Scoot as well. I don't think it's gonna be. I don't think he's gonna get much better. For me personally, I just think this Portland Trailblazers is gonna be one of those teams that towards the end of the season are beating good teams and kind of just throwing wrenches in people's game plans. You know what I mean? I don't think they're gonna make the playoffs. I don't think they're gonna make any type of playoff run. I think they'll be fighting for the play-in.
So
they're going to play spoiler a lot. I think they're going to play spoiler a lot. I think they're going to be that team that people aren't going to want to come to the Motor Center. You know what I'm saying? It's going to be like, oh, we should beat them, but we got to play. We can't, we can't be at Spice the night before. You know what I mean? You got to. Yeah, you got to
come down to being in Spice and winning that basketball game.
You got.
Hey, we got 82 basketball games.
Nah, you got to go to sleep when you're in Portland. I think that's kind of the consensus right now. I think you got to go to sleep when you're in Portland, and you got to wake up ready to play basketball. But I don't think this team is going to be a threat as far as making a deep playoff run. But they got a lot of good players, man. I'm so high on Denny. Chill. It was the same for me as it was for you. Like, I watched Denny when he first came around. I was checking him out in Washington. But when I start going to watch him play in person, when I'm seeing how big he is in person, you know what I mean? Like, that dude is big. He's fast. Like, he's an athlete.
I did see him in the Eurobasket. Definitely a really good athlete. Yeah. I didn't realize he was that good of an athlete. I knew he was a damn good athlete.
Yeah, I was impressed, Joe. I was impressed. Shaden Sharp, I'm just not sure what he's going to be, but I think he has a lot of potential. So I think this is a good team. But
am I ridiculous?
The West is stacked, though, Chill.
It is 100%.
I don't understand. Ox. Does he not? Like you said, you don't think he's going to get better, but you say he has potential. I don't.
Oh no.
I said not going to get much better, but Shaden has potential.
Oh, my bad. Yeah. I misunderstood that.
Well, see, and that's where
Scoot did get better though last year.
Yeah, Chill is the Scoot believer up here. I'm not the highest on Scoot.
Of course you are. And my question to you guys is, how many times have you seen guys go backwards to go forward? Because I'm asking that question because before he got with Chauncey Billups, we had this Russell Westbrook athleticism tag on him, and I was like, okay, that's not there. He's not explosive. He's not nearly as explosive as Russ coming in. He ain't the bucket getter that Russ is coming in. He ain't the athlete that Russ is coming in. He's none of those things. So I think that they were trying to copy that when that's so not who he is. So then now he gets with Chauncey Billups, who's trying to turn him into a lead guard. And I think he's trying to turn him into a lead guard in the image of him. Be more of a floor leader. I can knock down open shots. go off screens. And remember too, Ox, I'm still learning the pro game at this level. And I'm learning to play the pro game. And I'm learning to play the pro game like how this coach is teaching it to me. I can appreciate you guys' pessimism of Scoot because what you've seen so far. But I think we went backwards to go forward with him. And I think this is going to work if they can keep them together and he can stay healthy. I think this is
Chill, you can't just be Chauncey Billups, Chill. You can't just be like, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna be Chauncey. You can't do that. But my thing is, real quick, I don't got much to say, so I'm out the way. I just want to say, I feel like Scoot, sometimes you draft a guy in the first round and he's not a superstar. He's never going to be your superstar. I think Scoot could potentially be like one of the best backup point guards in the NBA in a little bit. I just don't see him being a lead guard that takes a team far at all. That's just how I look at Scoot. And that's not a knock. I think y'all know how I feel. I feel like your bench players are just as important as the guys that tip the ball off. So if you could come off that bench and play 8 to 21 minutes of really good basketball and keep that second unit afloat, that's a great role, and you should be proud to play that role.
I think
he could be a better. I think he could be a better version of Kyle Lowry. I know that sounds crazy to you guys, but I think he can do that. I think he could be a.
When you say better, what do you mean by better?
What I mean is a more athletic, more efficient version of Kyle Lowry.
He's nowhere near
better at basketball than Kyle Lowry.
Okay, no,
he's more athletic than Kyle Lowry. For sure. Everything else, he's worse.
I think
he's not more athletic than Kyle Lowry.
It took Kyle Lowry a while to be
I'm
good, though.
I'm not saying I'm talking about the hard.
People only see Kyle Lowry as what he is today. They forget that, he'd been in the league. Kyle Lowry been in the league for 18 years.
He averaged like 5 points a game his rookie season.
He was not awesome when he first came in.
And he
played very much.
But Kyle played 4 years at Villanova, right?
No.
Yes, he did.
How many did he?
How long was he?
I don't know.
I don't know. I'm asking. I'm legitimately asking. I don't know. But I know he was older before he got in the league, and I know he was older before he started really producing and like
that's why he
having an impactful.
He did 2 years at Villanova.
Okay.
I'm
just a lot lower on this team.
Kyle was better. Look, to be clear, Kyle was better as a rookie. He just couldn't shoot. Okay, when he got to Toronto, he just couldn't shoot. That was the only thing. The Raptors gave up a first-round pick for him because he couldn't shoot and because he kept burning bridges with his coaches. That was it. That was the criticism. What's Kyle Lowry was, he's a terrible defender, Joe. Now, I am not going to come up here and be a Scoot hater, but I hate the fact that you just compared him to Kyle Lowry. He is nowhere close to Kyle Lowry. If he becomes Kyle Lowry, that would be considered a magical turnaround on his career. He's nowhere near the athlete that we thought he was, one. So the athleticism a little bit overrated. I'm gonna say that. Okay. He's explosive at the rim, all that stuff. Yeah, in transition, he's great. Functional athleticism in the NBA is different. Okay. So what I'll say is they got rid of two of the worst parts of that team. To me, Anthony Simons, DeAndre Ayton. I think that's a little bit of addition by subtraction. I'm gonna be honest. Anthony Simons is a horrible defender. Shaedon Sharpe is not a great defender. Okay. Scoot Henderson is not a good defender either. He looks like he should be able to defend. He's athletic. He's got broad shoulders. He's very strong. So I understand that if you watch a single play where he gets a deflection or he gets a block, you're like, oh, Scoot could be a great defender. But the reality is his off-ball awareness is horrible. His pick and roll navigation is not great. He's just not effective. I don't know what to tell you.
Hold on, because I wanted to speak earlier than Penn went. So I think the issue is, because I can't yell today or talk loud. I think the issue is that
what's wrong, Swiper?
Shucks.
I think the issue is no troll. I don't have the energy to troll, honestly.
You good? You good, big guy?
No.
As you were saying,
would you like to start, Ron? Because I still have energy for that.
As you were saying,
did you get your halitosis? Did you get that checked out yet?
As you were saying, Swiper, the issue. As you were saying, Swiper,
some of this is Portland last year. They had a top 10 defense from January to March, I believe. They were also a top 10 performing team for about like a month and a half or so. And then I remember that's when Jamal had his 55-point game versus them when they were like on their run. And Shaedon was playing like Scoot Henderson, to be fair, Penn, had a run where he was shooting around 38 to 40% from three. And he was doing all the things that they needed him to do and they're asking him to do. The problem is
And
it's
it
just
culminated in
like,
that Knicks game where he was amazing.
yeah, he was moving really well. He looked like he was figuring it out. I think a lot of this is just going to be progression with him. You know, how do you continue to figure out the IQ side of playing NBA basketball, and somehow Chill whitewash history, and he's now the Portland Trailblazers guy. But Donovan Clingan, I think it's going to be like a tier 1, like whatever that next tier underneath, like Jokic, Embiid, Wemby. I think Clingan can be there with Zubac and all of them within the next few years. Like, Clingan is that good. He's an excellent rim protector. Also, remember, they had him trying out shooting threes. I'm talking about shooting threes at like 1.2 a game. It wasn't anything like worthwhile. But he has a nice post game. Like, he's somebody that's extremely strong. He's as big as, if size-wise, he's just as big as, like, almost Zoo, and then, you know, somebody like
bigger.
Yeah,
No,
like
He's
Brook
huge.
Lopez.
I always say he looks like the biggest player in the league to me every time.
But how big is he legit?
I want
And
to
he's
He's
big in real life.
7'2", he's 7'2", 280. Like,
Barefoot.
Wait,
Yeah, his
I
shoulders.
just
Go
wanna
ahead,
say-
Ox. Go
Go
ahead,
ahead,
Ox.
Ox.
Real quick, Swiper. I just want to say he's not just he's not almost
Yeah.
or anything. Like when I'm seeing him, and
Mhm.
mind you, I'm right here. He's bigger than these dudes. Like him,
Yeah.
he made not look small, but look normal. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? And you know how big Jonas Valanciunas is.
J-Val is
Mhm.
6'11", legit.
Yeah, no,
But I'm
he's
not
big.
even talking about all the way
yeah,
high. I'm
it's,
talking
it's,
about
it's
broad
about
width.
width, it's everything.
Yeah, even standing
That's why
next
he
to-
looks like the biggest man in the league. Like,
Yeah,
it's just,
he's
Yeah.
massive.
I don't know, like
How
he
old is
doesn't
he?
have like the longest neck, so it's like all just body and arms, and he's just big. Like, it's just,
Swiper, that dude feels a door frame. I'm pretty sure he got to go like
And, he's only 21. He's not even 22 yet. He's listed at 7'2", y'all. Like, he's a massive mountain of a man. And so you add in the fact that he's already sound from a skill standpoint to be that size. He's already an elite rim protector, and he has a
really
fluid
good
enough
offensive
shot motion.
rebounder as well. Really
Yeah,
good
he has a
offensive
good enough shot motion where he can be like a plus shooter from the 6'10" area, like that DeAndre Ayton. Not to the quality, but like Zubac throwing the ball over the top of you on that little hook. And then you add him, you add Yang, Robert Williams, you add Jrue, you add Shaden, Tomani, and like I think that team, they're not going to be a playoff team for me, but they'll be a team that is 100% competing for the play-in when they're fully healthy, and a team that's making it hard on you every single night. And now, I think taking Scoot out of it, Jrue Holiday and your worst defender in your starting lineup is Shaden Sharp, but he's like a super plus athlete with Donovan Clingan, with Tamani Kamara, and then with Denny Advia. They're going to be really good. And remember, Denny Advia last year went an All-NBA run, not an All-Star run, an All-NBA run. Remember, he was averaging like 24 on like crazy
to close the
efficiency.
season, yeah.
And the transition points for him, like Chill loves transition. He was scoring like a demon in transition for like a month and a half there. You know, Josh Giddey, Kobe White, and, you know, Denny Advia all kind of had their little run last year at the same time. So look, Penn, I'm with Chill. Like, I don't think they're gonna be a playoff team, bro, but they're gonna be a lot better than people realize. They're a lot more skilled than people realize. And I think Mars, you just needed a little bit of time with Chauncey Billups, because I think now that he has a really good roster around him, I think he's already proven
I
his
might have
worth.
been a bit. I
Like,
might have been a bit. I'm fair. I can acknowledge. I
It's
might have been a
interesting
bit.
that there's like this little quadrant.
Yo,
on the screen.
Pin, I'm about to grab the reins because we do got to get to a couple other things. I appreciate talking about the Portland Trailblazers. I hate to have to move the conversation on because personally, I would like to tell you guys how garbage I think they are, but we don't have time for that.
It's the player choice way. Yeah, them boys don't get it started. The player choice way. You're the player choice way. Come and switch lanes into the player choice way.